Pride in Progress is a mural that was designed and created by lead artist Anne Northrup, but she worked with a team of 15 assistants. The mural occupies the entire west wall of the William Wade Community Center at 1315 Spruce Street. It can also be seen on Juniper Street. William Wade Community Center is the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community center in Philadelphia. The mural is 55 feet high and 165 feet wide. It depicts a gay pride festival. Sloan, and I'm a graduate student with Valparaiso University in the Institute for Humane Education. I'm taking a creative activism class. I'm here with Anne Northrup today. And Anne Northrup is the painter and artist of this mural here. And we'll just give Anne a few moments to kind of talk about the mural.
Well, this is the LGBTQ mural, and it was painted. I painted it in 2003. And at the time, it was my second mural that I'd ever painted, so that was kind of a glorious project for me. And I felt very close to the subject matter because my sister is gay, and in fact, she's in the mural. And so she's right up here, this extremely tall person, right there, with her partner, dancing with her partner. And so at the time, it felt like a really radical project, but as time went on, it's, just the right thing. It's just all about justice. And I think that people really understand that, at least in Philadelphia, maybe not everywhere. At the time, seemed like a very kind of, scary neighborhood a little bit at night. And so this was going to just brighten up the alley and make people feel safe. Further down, you can look and see there's a picture of my mother, actually, a very large picture gazing out at the landscape, meaning to keep safe for people. So that's what it was like. And then, but I really was very untutored on all the different people that needed to be represented in this mural. And they asked me particularly not to choose gay people from Philadelphia or LGBT people from Philadelphia because there often is with murals a kind of a competition as to who can be represented. So I used a lot of my family in the mural. And I went up and we were having a reunion and I said, look, I need pictures. If you have some funny feelings about being on a mural, that's okay, I can change the head or something. But I really need pictures, and they all wanted to be on the mural. So and then, when I started to paint, it was just amazing. Like, people would come driving up in a station wagon, with paintings, beautiful paintings in the back, say, I really need to work on this mural. Can I be your assistant? I'm willing to volunteer. People from, a guy from Australia to, it was just very exciting project.
Do you feel a place of art is to make people feel better and kind of create a reaction, as far as sometimes art can come from a place of despair, and art, and a mural can give people a feeling of hope? Was that your hope in creating the mural?
Oh, absolutely. In all my murals, I try to provide something that I feel might be lacking, and the community groups that I work with have their own needs and feelings about what they want to express, what they want to have, represented for history and for, to make people understand their point of view. Also in the city, I always want to create something beautiful to counteract the kind of sameness of the brick and asphalt jungle. I grew up in the country, and so if I could put a tree in, that's always good. You're mentioning the idea of art being helpful for people who are in despair.
Yes.
And I hope that that would happen for people, because I know that many LGBTQ people have had such a hard time growing up, and I have them in my family, and I'm just happy that they've grown up and are able to be happy, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I know, I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th graders right now, and there's one kid that I teach who is so emotional. Every time I go to pick the class up, for art, he's in tears over something. And so one day he was in particularly bad shape, and he was trying to tell me all the bad things that had happened to him, and how his friends were teasing him and all this. And I said, look, it's Halloween. We're trying to do scary pictures. Why don't you make just a really scary picture? And he just got busy on that. He just, everything else went away. And clearly he had a felt need, for the expressive power that art can give you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that people feel enough represented. Like all the time I was working on it, people came up to me and said, you have not represented the Bears, or you have not represented some other group that I, hadn't ever even heard of. And, we were very instrumental in the history of this movement, and I'm like, okay, well, let's get you up there. And even at the dedication, when it was all done and we were celebrating, one of the performers, a lot of people from Philadelphia came to perform. It was wonderful. It was such a marvelous day.
Just came back from visiting her. She's 92. Taking her to the doctor. I got eye surgery for her, so now her vision is clear. And so I feel really good about it. And that's my dad in the wheelchair. He died in March. That's my sister singing. That's my daughter's good friend, Julie. Those are my two brothers and their wives, actually. Well, this section, this big section, was all that we planned to do from the beginning. And that was all that Mural Arts had the money for. And so when I finished that section, it ended right here. And then afterwards, so the owners of the building really wanted this section to look as nice as the rest, because it really was a little bit shabby, I have to say. And they had to re-stucco it for me to even work on it. And so they wanted to sell these spaces, as part of their condos that they have nearby. They're kind of, building the city sort of people, very energetic. And so it gave us an opportunity to change the tenor of the whole thing, because I think our ideas had evolved over time. So 2 years before, when they were planning it, they just really wanted me to show LGBTQ people having a happy, wonderful life, without all the despair and hiding in the closet that had gone, down through history. But by the time that we were doing this one, they really wanted to show some of the history of the movement, the people from Stonewall, the Leathermen, the people who were really instrumental in the movement and really in making change happen in the society. So that was a great opportunity for us. And so this poster represents the marches on Independence Hall that took place in the 60s. And that's Barbara Giddings, support homosexual civil rights. You can see they're all kind of dressed up in a way not to be scary, and also they're carrying signs about justice, so it isn't a question of, it's really just a question of being fair to people and accepting the diversity that is a fact and always has been in the human race. So I was very, very happy that we got a chance to do that. Of course, it turned out the end, even at the dedication, when the whole mural was done, there was one performer, and a lot of the artists and performers from Philadelphia came, and we had a whole day of fantastic dance and music and singer-songwriters. It was just marvelous. And one of in fact, the last performer was a cross-dresser who was a sort of nightclub chanteuse, and she got up and she said, this mural leaves somebody out. And she's tottering on these little high heels. It really leaves somebody out. And that person is, let's see, how did she say? And that person is the something all queen. Anyway, so I'm like, oh no, we could have represented her. She could have been the singer right over here. She could have been in this mural. But I guess it's more than that too.
What do you hope your work will say to anybody viewing this mural or anything in general that you've ever done?
Well, I work for the Mural Arts Program, which is a wonderful program in Philadelphia. And they kind of have a program, in mind, to help people through the power of art and to just help them to express themselves through art. They are very often paid on it, people from the community group. For me, I have always wanted to paint the human figure really big. So I was the one in art class that would obnoxiously come in with a 6-foot canvas, and say, "Am I in the way?" And so this is just a fabulous opportunity, but I felt like my own sense of what I should paint really was so narrow and quirky, related to my family of origin. And so to have people who need art very badly in a certain kind of way was such a beautiful opportunity for me to get directly in touch with my audience. People who would care, who would be walking by here every day, and who would really care to have their message delivered. Mm-hmm. And so that real human need is what drives me and makes me feel like I know I'm relevant.
Interconnectedness, I find, is a really big thing with art. It's a way to kind of feel in tune with nature, kind of that feeling of despair or anything you can kind of give back. Do you feel that when you're doing art that there's something that you look forward to kind of gain strength from to give back to others?
Absolutely. Well, like I was saying, it's their intensity and their feeling that makes me feel like this is worth doing. I kind of, alone in my studio, I kind of wonder if anybody needs any more of these pictures,
Right.
So it really is very important to me. And the way it connects with my own work that I do on my own, because I still work in the studio as well. So I'll be working on some kind of, design problem or stylistic issue, or I'll have like I did a whole series of dancer paintings in very strong light. So it was really all about, I would have the dancers do their dance, and then I would have them take poses that were part of their dance. Mm-hmm. And then I would do them in sequence, so it's almost like a time-lapse thing. And I was doing them in panels. So on this wall, it's the wall contributes, my own work contributes, the wall contributes, and the community contributes. Mm-hmm. In this case, the wall has a very quirky set of panels that are related to these girders that, divide it up. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of composing people within these girders, should you try to make it look like their arm is going across a girder, or should you just assume they're behind the girders? And if they're behind the girders, then maybe the girders are like bars that are separating you from them. So there's like a metaphorical quality that you could get, that these are people who feel trapped, who feel imprisoned in some way, right. And you're going to try to release them, to move together behind the barrier.